everyone, and thank you for tuning into another installment of Conversations with Coco. It is your girl, Coco, and this is episode number 11. And this is actually my last episode of 2023. And next time y'all see me, it will be a new year, new everything. I'm just going to start over fresh. It's kind of wild that I've actually been doing this for a year now. I got an email the other day that reminded me of that, and it really does not seem like it's been a whole year already. So, definitely proud of myself and looking forward to what's to come for next year. Before I get into the nitty gritty of today, I did want to take the opportunity to express gratitude for the support when it came to my last episode. Shout out to my guest. That was a very good episode. I definitely left the studio feeling very fulfilled and accomplished. I feel like we did a good job. We had a great conversation. And I got some amazing feedback from that. I actually heard so I guess you would want to say with my episodes, they cater to everyone, but I guess in the back of my mind, I just don't be thinking like men really listen to it. And I got some great feedback actually from a guy that said he listened to two of my episodes and it helped him realize some things when it came to his daughter and some adjustments that he needed to make. And I thought that was super dope. So shout out to him if you're listening. So yeah, today we are going to just talk about 2023 and kind of just dive into that. But before we get too deep into it, y'all know I got segments. So my first segment describes what my mood is currently.
Like damn, she on her move. Like damn, she on her move.
So what I'm gonna do is actually hilarious because I normally play songs, and so Fridays are my remote day, where I just work at home, and I feel like Fridays end up being my busiest day. I don't know what it is about being at home, but I'm always super busy. And I've been just vibing all day playing music, and it really helps me get through my day. So since this is the last episode of the year, I figure I'm about to make up for all of the episodes that I'm not going to be doing this month, which is really only one, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to play like three songs. So what I'm about to say might sound crazy, but there's a difference between bald head Tony Braxton and long hair Tony Braxton, right? And I'm a fan regardless. But it's just something about bald head Tony that just does something to my soul. And I just love her. So I was listening to this today and I'm only gonna play a really short snippet because I'm not trying to get blocked. So I was listening to this today. Let me turn up my volume so y'all can hear. I wish y'all could see Tone right now. So I was listening to that today, like, oh, she is such a vibe. Like, um, I was also listening to this. Now, this one is wild. So I have older siblings. So on my dad's side, I'm the youngest. It's 10 of us. I'm the baby. On my mom's side, it's three of us. I'm the middle child. But my older sister is 11 years older than me. And then my younger sister is 4 years younger than me. So growing up, I feel like my older sister, y'all know how older siblings are. They kind of let you get away with stuff that your parents wouldn't normally let you get away with. Like my older sister let me get a piercing. She took me to see like movies she wasn't supposed to take me to see. And she also let me listen to this, which at the time I love the song, but I did not fully understand exactly what it meant. And so now that I'm grown and I listen to it, I think I told her the other day, like, damn, you really had me listening to that. And I probably shouldn't have been. So check this one out. I know we're not supposed to be doing that. I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit. Why was I listening to this? Like, why? Pretty Willie Four Walls? Like, what? Why was I listening to that? Why? So I really been on this like rabbit hole. Like, remember, lay your body down, listening to all of these songs. Like, why was I listening to that? Why would she let me do that? Like, I don't know what she was doing. Um, and so I have another one. I was watching the Soul Train Music Awards a couple of weeks ago, and it was actually dope. It was a very different vibe than it normally is. I didn't hear about it much on social media. They didn't really have like a lot of big name artists like they normally do. Kiki Palmer was the host, so I mean, it was entertaining for the most part. But the thing that I appreciate about the show is that it put me on to a lot of new artists. So this was one of the new artists that I was put onto, and the reason I love him is because he gives me such like a soul vibe. Like he reminds me of like a maybe like a Marvin Gaye or like a Smokey Robinson or something. He's super dope. So his name is October London. He's I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I've been listening to him. So they put me onto a few new artists. It was him. It was a girl named Maida. I was listening to her. She's dope. And then there was some other guy named Dame or Dom. Or, I don't know what his name was, but I think they say he used to be a gospel artist. So whatever song he was singing, and I was confused because I don't know if the song he was singing on the Soul Train Awards was gospel or if it was regular because of the way the girls were dressed and they was kind of twerking. But why would you be twerking in gospel music? I don't know. People do what they want to do. So I was very much confused by that, but hey, yeah, whatever. Um so today I'm not going to be before you very long. What I kind of wanted to do was just do a year in review. Definitely been doing a lot of reflection, which I tend to do around this time of year, as does many other people, I'm sure. But what I think it is important to do is do a year in review. And the reason why is you want to be able to recognize what happened good so that you can expand on that. Recognize what happened bad so that you know what to change, and just be able to um, have some, new goals and desires and things that you're working toward for the next year. What I realized is that it's something that I did not do last year. And I think that it might have kind of played into the reason why my year went the way it did, um, kind of, sort of. And so I'm really trying to go into this next year with a completely different outlook, a different plan, and definitely with very clear and good intention. So when I look back on 2023, I was kind of thinking about like all of the years that I would consider like my worst years. So I would say like 2015, 2018, and definitely 2023 rounded out like the top three. There, I think out of all of these past years, I took so many L's this year that were completely like unexpected and like blindsided that you could not pay me to have thought that I would be taking as many L's as I did, like back to back to back to back. Um, I was thinking about where I was when this year started, and it's like I started this year in LA with all of my best friends, like living a life, catching a vibe, having such a good time. And I vividly remember during that time, I'm like, if this is how the year's gonna go, we're in good shape. I felt really good being on that trip, coming home, I felt energized, and then boom, like March comes and I don't got no job no more. um now I made the decision to leave my job, but I also feel like I was kind of pushed into doing that. If you want to know more about that, you can go back and listen to the episode about that. I don't know what the title of it is, but I definitely kind of went more into detail about that. But even in thinking about that situation, one thing I recognized, I think a couple of days ago, was that there's still a lot of anger in regards to the situation surrounding that I have not dealt with. So I definitely like would need to do that. Um, and one of the common themes I would say with everything that I had going on this year is I still don't understand why any of it happened. Right. I know that you know how the saying goes, like, oh, everything happens for a reason, but I can't figure out and understand why any of that happened. And I know that there's going to be a time that comes where I'm going to step back and be like, okay, now it makes sense. Like that's why it happened. Um, but usually I feel like I can kind of understand like initially, and with this, like I just can't. Um, and so I was really trying to think about some of the things that I learned this year. And one of the common things that I realized with myself is that because I have this, like, you know how people say, like, oh, I'm a good person, and you like, okay, whatever. Like, I am a good person. I'm nice, I'm polite, I'm helpful. Like, I really have like a love for people. Now, do I love everybody? Of course not. But for the people who come in contact with me, I have good intentions for everyone. Um, and one thing that I noticed, even in my previous employment, is that I got that job because, they believe that I can do the job. But I went along with it because they had this dream and they had these goals. And I believed in that. And I wanted to see them succeed and move forward. So, I uprooted my life and changed cities and I started working for them because they had this dream and they had this goal that I believed in. So, one thing that I did a lot of this year was a lot of, believing in other people's dreams and goals and aspirations. And I feel like I did that more for other people than I did for myself. And that's where I kind of fail. Because if I had put my own things in the forefront, then I might not have ended up in a lot of the situations that I was in. So, at my old employer, they got what they needed to get out of me, and then they didn't have a use for me anymore. I had already created the policies and procedures. I had already set up all of the electronic health record systems. I had already just done so much and poured so much into the company. It's like, oh, well, we don't need shit else. So yeah, you might as well just, won't really need you here anymore. So we just gonna make the environment unbearable for you to leave, and that's what I ended up doing. Um, and so I poured so much into that situation and didn't have anything to kind of look back on. So one thing that I definitely do plan to do next year is really be selfish. And I know sometimes we look at being selfish as, wrong. And I would say in some situations, yes. But I think in the situation that I'm looking at, I don't think that it's wrong for me to be selfish for a change. Everybody knows me, knows that I'm really Johnny on the spot with everything. Like if you need me, I'm there for you. You call me, I got you. Like it's never an issue. I'm always doing that. Um, but I will say it's not always reciprocated in the way that I would like for it to be. Um, and so in doing reflecting, and I made a post about it too, I think earlier this week, I realized that, I'm always saying like, oh, I don't like the experience that I'm receiving from this situation or this person, so I'm going to go ahead and move around. Well, I didn't like the experience, or I don't like the experience that I've been providing myself for, not even over this last year, but for many years. And I'm feeling like deep in my spirit that it's time to really just make an adjustment and really just focus on me and do what I need to do for myself. Um, Even with me being a mom, like finding a balance between me still being selfish. Because aside from all of these titles of me, being a mom and being a friend and being an employee and all of those things, I'm still an individual. And I have not been doing as good with myself as I should be. Some of the changes that I want, I had intended on implementing for next year have kind of already started early. So, something that I've started doing now, I mean, I work out. So I'm in the gym about 4 times a week. And I'm doing workouts at least for an hour, sometime maybe even more. um, that has been something that I've been very consistent with for a while. And I'm very proud of myself because this is me going in the gym with no trainer, no group workout, and nobody else. It's just me going in, creating my own workouts, getting it in, and going home. So, I'm getting up bright and early in the morning. Like in the morning, I'll be at the gym at about 6. Um, it's me working all day and ending my night at the gym, like making sure that I'm there. So that's a goal that I have been keeping up with that I'm very happy about. And I did not wait until the new year to start that. So once the new year comes, I'm already kind of in that routine. Um, and so, yeah, this year was just, it was rough. I think, like I said, episode before, if you had asked me earlier this year, if I started this year in Texas and I somehow ended it in Milwaukee. And every time I think about it, I just think about how insane that sounds. Like it's really crazy. Um, and life just throws you these monkey wrenches, and you just gotta figure it out. Um, but one thing that I learned this year, and I don't know what it feels like recently, and I could be naming it wrong, but I feel like I've also been having like this identity crisis. Like I feel like I know who I am, but I don't know if I'm like presenting it correctly to the outside world. I'm not sure. Like I was talking to my friend about this and I was telling her like some of the good qualities that I feel like I possess, and I just want to make sure that I'm putting it out to the world in the right way, and it be accepted in the right way. But I feel like that's some of like the people pleasing kind of qualities coming out. And I really need to get to a point where I feel like some things I don't care about, as far as what people say and what people think, but I feel like there is still a part of me that kind of cares a bit too much about what people have to say and what people have to think. And I really need to step away from that if I plan on living a happy and successful life. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be working on, moving forward. And I want to stop operating like I'm a machine. I went to go see the Beyonce Renaissance movie, and one thing that she was saying in there is she was just saying like we are not machines. Like we are humans. We are individuals with lives and feelings, and you can't just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on because eventually it's just not going to work anymore. Um, and I would say currently at this very minute, at this very hour, like I'm exhausted, and I feel like I've been exhausted since I've been home because I'm ripping and running and working out and trying to be social and getting my kids situated, and I'm tired. Um and that's definitely something that's going to have to change for next year. I'm really going to have to be more intentional about my time. I can't go everywhere and do everything with everybody. I need to really like manage my time better. Um, and I know one thing I want to start doing is waking up early. I really need to start being a 5 a.m. girl because you really get more done when you wake up early. And I'm not a morning person. I literally wake up at the last minute. Dylan basically has to wake me up. He's up and ready. And yeah. So I need to change that next year for sure. For sure. Um, but yeah, when I look back on the L's I took this year, um, I have already reflected on them. And although I would say most of them were not my fault, I have already um, looked at ways for me to ensure that those same instances won't happen for next year. And I know you can't foresee the future. You can prepare for it as much as you can, but things are going to happen the way that they're going to happen. But I definitely want to make sure that I do everything in my power, um, to prevent those things from happening in the way that they did. Um, and like I said, the number one thing is really just going to be me focusing on me and me being disciplined, and me being intentional, and me just putting myself at the forefront of everything. And that's not something that I have ever done in life. It's always been everybody else and then me at the end. And that's just not the quality of life that um, I want to keep living. So definitely need to make those changes there. So yeah, I mean, this time last year I was making a vision board and I had all of these goals and these aspirations, and I didn't do any of it. And I really need to stop being lazy um when it comes to myself. So I definitely encourage everybody to really just take a step back and look at your year, your ups and your downs, and figure out what you can do to make the very next year your best year. Definitely going into it with a lot of positive vibes. And like I said, I realized that a lot of things that happened this year it does not make sense to me right now. I don't understand why it happened, but I know the moment is going to come where it's going to click in. Like one thing is I don't know how life led me back here. But I'm looking at it as a fresh start, and I hope that eventually it is going to make sense. It has to. I had a friend, she was trying to talk me into even going back to going back to Texas. And there was a small part of my mind that was like, well, I could go and start over again. But I'm like, no, I need to stay put and I need to let my risk taking chapter close. Because I need a break from that. So yes, this is really just my year in review. And of course, there are aspects of that I don't want to be as vulnerable or transparent about, because you can't really put everything out there. But I think that if I am consistent and I stick to the changes that I want to make, I know for a fact that on the outside people will be able to see it, and you'll be able to see the work that I put in without necessarily having to know like all of the background that it took for me to get there. um, But yeah, one goal that I can reveal to you all is, as far as my platform, I do plan to be consistent. I do plan to continue to have thought provoking conversations. I do intend to, I really just want to bring in more people and just have us like explore life in a different way. I really want to put out content that I am proud of, and what that is going to entail. Like, and I'm not being mean when I say what I'm getting ready to say, but I know that you have a platform, especially a podcast, and people are like, oh, I want to come on your show. I want to come on your show. I want to come on your show. And I think for some people and their platform, like that's dope. But for mine, I think that I'm very intentional about who I bring into my space and who I allow on my platform. Because at the end of the day, it's a reflection of me. And I want to make sure that I'm putting out the right type of content. So I'm never being mean if I decline it, or say, for instance, you ask me to come on your show and I might decline it. I'm being very intentional. Again, going back to what I said about my time, about how I'm putting myself out there, and then especially with my platform, because it's like my baby, and I plan to take it as far as I possibly can. In order for me to do that, I feel like I need to protect it some. So definitely don't think I'm being mean, but and I mean I don't know. I might say no at one point. It might not be a no forever, or the no might be a complete sentence. I don't know, but don't think I'm being mean if I decline you coming on or me going on your show. So yeah. Um. So as far as the year in review, that's really all I had. I'm sure that I will have more on that first episode following the new year. We'll kind of figure out how the rest of this year is going. I plan to take these next 2 weeks and really rest. My son is leaving in a week, and he's going back to Texas, and he'll be gone for the rest of December. He doesn't come back to after the new year, so it's going to be just me. And I plan to do great things with that time away. Um, so yeah, we are going to get. At first, I didn't have anything for my WTF segment, but something came up um, this afternoon that I wanted to talk about. So, and it's actually very fitting that my sound bites is who it is, because that's what I was getting ready to talk about. Would you say something? Wasn't it perfect? Perfect. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it actually is perfect. And honestly, I can't tell you exactly what this backstory was because I was working today and I wasn't really scrolling social media like that. I just kind of came across bits and pieces of it. But I saw this video when I was scrolling Instagram, and actually, you know what? I'm gonna take it back. A couple of days ago, I saw something in the blogs that Cardi B had went live, and she basically talked about how she's single and she had been for a while. She wanted to let her fans know. She just didn't know how to say it. And I mean, honestly speaking, girl, you are not obligated. You do not feel like you got to tell your fans anything. But she basically was saying that she was single and she was kind of cycling through that, and really trying to figure out what that looked like for herself. So then today, it's like I saw this tweet and she was calling her ex husband like a bitch ass nigga. Um, and she said a few other things in the tweet, but then she went live and it just like triggered me so much. She was basically just talking about just how he wasn't shit and he, chooses the moments when she's the most vulnerable and just not feeling confident to just mess with her. And how she was there for him and she did so much for him and she didn't even get like a thank you, but the pain in her voice, like it cut me so, like it triggered me so much because it was almost like it was like a war cry. And I know many women can relate, but when a man takes you to that point where you just can't take it anymore and you just feel that shit deep down in your soul, like hearing that from her, I felt like I was going through it with her. Like I felt it on a completely different level. And I don't even know what he did. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to read anything. I don't know what he did, but that pain in her voice, like it really just sucks so bad. And I swear, I feel like men, and not all men, of course, I'm not saying this for all men, but men really don't realize how far they take you into like these deep, dark places, and they don't even realize it. And again, I don't know what he did, but based off of just hearing it, what her emotion and her reaction, he did that shit because that shit came from deep down, and like you could just tell she was just tired. Like I was listening to her interview on the Breakfast Club a couple weeks ago, and I be forgetting how young some of these artists are. Like they're in their 20s. I don't know why in my mind I was thinking that they were way older. They're in their 20s. Like, and the good thing about that is you still got your whole life ahead of you. So she can heal and find somebody who, loves her children, and won't make her go through whatever it was that he's taking her through. But man, that was hard to hear. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I sadly watched it.
You watched the whole live, or just because I don't know if
I
heard
watched what was
on the blogs
available.
Yeah,
Um,
because I don't know if that was just it or if it was more. I have to go on later.
it probably was more. If she went live, it probably took a minute before she probably got to the point where she could express herself. Um, and as a dude, I really did feel bad for her, but at the same time, as an older man, you could see the signs that we were eventually going to get here. Because you have to look at, because if you look at their, one thing about a celebrity relationship is, unfortunately, we see a lot of things. We see a lot of things that they may have forgotten or got past, because unfortunately the internet never forgets. Okay. And when
cheating and
right,
lies,
and that was going to say, like, there has been, even before Culture was born, or even I think while she was pregnant, there were different instances where he had to come do some form of public apology. I remember plain as day when she was on tour and on stage, and I guess they had a big blow up a few days before it. And
he bought them flowers,
and he interrupted her show to apologize. And as a dude who has done fuck shit in my past, I knew that right away. Like, this is a manipulative tactic. If I love bomb you in public, and I put you in a position where I'm asking for your forgiveness, you're in front of thousands of people. To save face, you're gonna take me back, regardless of how I behave afterwards. So, and like you said, they're young. Unfortunately, most relationships in that 20-year phase is not never really the best relationship for you. You're still learning
It's definitely
you.
not.
Yeah, you're still learning you. You're still learning how to navigate your level of success, your level of fame. And then just the simple fact that as Cardi B, you're put in positions that you got to learn how to maneuver for yourself. But as the woman that you are, Cardi B, the individual, I don't even remember that woman's government name right now.
Belcalis.
As Belcalis, you don't have that piece. So whoever Offset is, when there's no camera there, that's a different person than the Offset we do see.
Yeah.
And then society feeds it too. Like they really feed into that, because when she did the video, it was one particular blog or one particular tweet that was posted, and as you go under the comments, Nicki stans are attacking her in the name of Nicki, and it's like, but why? Like, how did we get
Because
from?
they are.
And I'm not even worried about that. And I know they're always going. Certain fans are always going to be delusional. Nicki fans are delusional. There's days where Beyonce fans are delusional.
I don't see many of those days coming from a Beehive member. I don't be acting like that.
You might not, but they got it. They out.
I mean, they out there. They out there.
There's
for
a
sure.
whole movie based around them.
It should have been based off of the other ones, but
It's based on.
but yeah,
anyway,
it's
it is definitely
social media is so.
toxic.
It might end up being like another show, but social media can really make bad situations worse. Because like I was looking at the comments on that video, and somebody was like, "Oh, like she didn't have a best friend. She didn't have a this. She didn't have a that." I'm sure she's surrounded around people that she could have talked to, but when you disrespect somebody and you take them to that place, you don't get to tell them how they react to that.
And
like when if you piss me off and you take me to that point, you don't get to tell me how to react to that. You don't get to tell me how to approach you in public. You don't get a chance to tell me how to communicate. You don't get a chance to tell me what not to say on social media. You revoke your opportunity to do that. So of course she could have picked up the phone and called a plethora of people. But in that moment, that's not what she wanted to do for whatever reason that we don't know. We might not ever know, and we're not obligated to know. But he did something that made her feel like she had to do that. And I'm not gonna knock her because she did what she felt like she wanted to do. And hell, I don't even know if she saved it. She probably did it and deleted it. Now, unfortunately, with social media, she might have deleted it, but it's on the internet forever. Yeah, it's on the internet forever now. But I mean, shit, like if he was disrespecting her out loud in public, it's like, okay, well, shit, I'm matching you. Is that right? Maybe not, but hey, she did what she did. She said what she said. I think just as a woman, my heart really hurts for her. It does. Oh niggas. Oh niggas. Being attracted to men can be very
Hold on now.
embarrassing.
Hold on now.
Not all men. Not hold on.
All. We're not going
not all.
Because I know some women to women relationship that be just as
for
embarrassing.
sure. But I can't speak on that because I don't know. Like I'm not in that world. Like I've never been engulfed or really seen like that type of relationship to know. So I can only talk about what I know and what I've experienced.
No, you're not wrong.
And I feel like I don't think being attracted to women is as embarrassing as being attracted to men.
No, they be embarrassing them too. They be embarrassing them too.
It can't. At least it would be something new that I had never experienced.
That's a different show. See, because I wasn't going to talk.
That would be a different embarrassment. At least it'd be a new kind, and it wouldn't be this consistent like nigga embarrassment. Because damn,
what the problem with women?
It's gonna be me next year.
Had to get my piece. I'm pushing P. Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no
That's gonna be me
The problem
2024.
with women who constantly get embarrassed by niggas is because you accept the fact that you decided to date somebody who was less than your level.
Or he could just not be like. He could just not be like that. You know,
He could,
just don't be
But-
like that.
but one thing I have noticed in my year-long study of niggerdom, because I've been studying niggas all year.
Okay, I'm excited for you to come back next year and tell us what you found because the year not over yet.
I studied niggas. Yeah, we gotta wait for the match at PJ season. That's gonna tell the truth. But niggas won't change who they are for the betterment of who they have, as long as they have the option to find someone who will accept their less than stellar behavior. As long as social media creates a place where I don't have to be better, I can get away with the half-assness that I present, I am never going to be the man that you expect me to be. So women, I need you to stop dating for potential, because potential
He got to be potential already.
He ain't gonna get there.
He got to come potential.
Stop dating with potential.
You got to be potential.
Don't
But
even-
I saw a
don't even
post
date that
before I got
athlete.
here, and it said that, and I don't know how I feel about it, but it says that that's the reason why, like, as women, like, you got to leave. Let me see if I can find it. You got to leave the first time.
You do.
Like the
And
first time he
that's
have
any-
you fucked
that-
up,
but
like
that's
go
anybody.
ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Go ahead and just head out
But
at that point.
That's with anybody you date, because if we made a mistake, okay, and I'll give the first one as a
Can't find
mistake.
it.
If we made a mistake and we did not do a full blown change of everything, we did not just like you left me because I won't stop cheating, so all I did was stop talking to that girl. If you don't see a whole change in my behavior, eventually we're going to go back to what we're doing. All we're going to do is look at what we did that got us caught and just make sure that don't happen again.
Pretty much.
So we're not going to, if we don't want to
Yeah.
change that behavior overall. So if you feel like, oh, I don't trust you, don't deal with that person. Move completely
Yeah.
on and let that person come back 100% completely healed from that scenario, instead of just giving them a second chance. And
Mhm.
especially, okay, see, now you're going to make me go on the tangent that I was supposed to go on yesterday. I need women to stop allowing history to be the reason you give someone a second chance. You need to treat every single time you're dealing with an individual as a brand new situation that just happens to come with the file of what made them not get hired at their last job.
Because the spinning the block is the wave now. Everybody
spinning
going.
the block-
Everybody
spinning the block
everybody
is the
going
wave.
home.
Spinning the block is the wave because we are allowing physical desires to make the decision for us. Like if this nigga,
In some situations, but in a lot of these situations, from what I see, it's probably because that person has grown, and it's been so much time in between that they probably are a completely different person
and
that you would actually deal with.
and
at
those
that
are
point.
ones I'm 100% for.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they grew. That means they sat back, they seen the mistake they made, they learned what the outcome was, and they adjusted, they changed. It's like, okay, doing 55 miles per hour on a 25 street keeps giving me a ticket. Let me stop doing 55.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, 50, I got a ticket on this block, so let me go around this way instead, but I'm still doing. That's what a lot of people are doing right now.
Mhm.
So when they go back and start dealing with that person may not be doing 55, they may be doing 50, but they're still violating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. I think about a lot of the situations that I've been in the past, where if I had just like moved around after that first time, I definitely would have saved myself a lot of heartache and pain in those situations. So I tend to be a very understanding and real considerate person in situations where I shouldn't be, especially when it comes to the opposite sex. It's like shit that should probably be shut down, I'm usually like, oh, okay, it's fine. I understand, I get it. And then the person who ends up being on the other end of that is
Let me
me.
ask
And
you a
when
question.
and it shouldn't be like that. So one thing for sure that I think I forgot to mention in my year in review is I still want to be understanding going into my next year, but not at the expense of myself.
Let me
It
ask you a
can't be
question.
that.
Since we here now, what makes you be understanding when they clearly have violated something that you hold true to you?
And it's not always in, I mean, if it's a direct violation, then I might be like less understanding. But when I say I'm always understanding, it's it can be big things and little things. And I think because I really do try my best to see the good in people. Like you talked about the potential, and that's something that needs to change. Like I see the potential of what you could be or what the situation could be, and it ups my understanding because it's like, I get it. Things happen. Maybe next time, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. It's like this outlook that I've had that needs to
Go away.
change. Yeah, and I don't know if it's like a bit of, me being naive or
I won't say naive.
me just like I really just try to see the good in people, and but you can't do that at the expense of yourself. Like you can't stand me up 10 times and I keep saying like, oh, I understand. Because eventually it's gonna be like, all right, you really don't want to go. Because this shit keep happening over and over again. And I keep being understanding over and over again. And it gets to a point where it's like, all right, the understanding done wore out. Like now you taking advantage of it.
In most cases, that's exactly what it is. A lot of it has to do with that initial foot not being put down.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to put minimum effort in to get you to forgive me, I'm never going to get to my full potential. I
Mm-hmm.
can literally just, you see this with a lot of guys when they've done their girl wrong and she's hit that wall where I want out, I'm done, I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. And you start seeing them doing things like buying a bag or getting them shoes or coming to their job with flowers and whatnot. And the reason why you start, and then the girl be like, no, I don't want none of that, is because these are the things that worked in the past
Mm-hmm.
for them to be forgiven for what are truly big violations.
Mm-hmm.
But because you've allowed history or you allow, well, I don't want to have to deal with the dating pool because it's got, full blown urine in it, or you, whatever excuse you make up in your head about not wanting to be single, you forgive that situation.
Yeah.
Or a lot of times because he got you something that you really wanted. So he knew enough about you to know, oh, you really wanted this Pandora bracelet with all these different charms on it. And all of a sudden, after you no longer want to talk to him anymore, he shows up with said Pandora bracelet. You be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, babe, you really do pay attention to me. Maybe you do care. And now he's back in, and none of the problems were ever fixed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so you really do have to like put yourself and your own feelings and stuff at the forefront and really just if you feel like you need to be out that first time, then be out that first time. So even in a situation, like I was talking about with Cardi and her husband, I know it was like most likely forgiveness after forgiveness after forgiveness, and that shit she got tired and she checked up the deuces. Now, did she do it as soon as she probably should have? On the outside looking in, no, but only you know what your breaking points are. Only you know what your deal breakers are. And if she's at the point where she says she's done, she's just done. So, um, yeah, and I think I might have mentioned this last week or the week before, but you definitely have to choose yourself. Um, Above all, you really do have to choose yourself. And it's okay to be understanding, but it's also okay to find a balance in that. And again, not being understanding to the point where it puts you and your feelings and whatnot to the side, because then it just makes it not fair. So I definitely do wish the best for her. And I hope she is able to heal in the way that she needs to. Um, And the crazy part about that is, I mean, Cardi is a bad bitch. So when she heal and get up out here in these streets, that nigga gonna be sick. Okay,
Cardi, with a white dude.
he gonna be sick. You know what?
And I'm not even being funny, but
On TikTok right now, trending is White Boy Winter.
there is a white boy
I'm
that
just saying.
loves everything about Cardi B.
There you go, girl.
And gonna give her a stress-free life, support her career, literally gonna teach her how to
Go look up that
diversify.
white boy on YouTube with the Rubik's Cube.
They're gonna teach her how to diversify her funds.
And there you go. He gonna be sick. Her ain't gonna be sick. Okay? He gonna be having his kids and she gonna be out on the town
Yeah, he
with
gonna
her new nigga
he gonna turn into Future.
or white boy. As if we need another one of those.
He gonna
On that note. On that note. But so yeah, like I said, this is the last episode of Conversations with Coco for 2023. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Me and Tone was just looking at my stats for the year. Y'all really rock with your girl. I appreciate that.
I don't know why she feel like y'all don't love her.
You know, I be needing reassurance.
You got that now.
I be needing reassurance. So I definitely thank you all for it's been a year in this thing and y'all been hanging in there with me. Definitely appreciate that. While I'm gone, I do encourage you to go back and listen to previous episodes. My number one episode apparently was the episode about loneliness, and I don't even remember the contents of that episode. So I'm gonna go back and listen myself.
You too lonely.
I must have been going through something and I just spilled the beans and once I got done recording, I never went back to it. So I'm gonna go listen to that. But yep, definitely thank you all. Looking forward to what 2024 brings for Conversations with Coco. If you have any suggestions when it comes to topics I can discuss, please let me know. I'm always looking to come up with new, innovating, interesting content. So feel free to either inbox me, drop it in the comments of this video. And speaking of the comments of this video, let me know some of your dreams and goals and some things that you want to work towards for 2024. I'm always looking for accountability partners in different areas. So if you need someone to hold you accountable, drop a comment below. And yeah, you might be watching this episode live, but it's actually pre-recorded. So I'm gonna be in the comments with you, chit-chatting. So meet me there. And that is pretty much it for me. 2023 Conversations with Coco signing out. And until next time, I'm gonna call y'all back. Have a happy new year, Merry Christmas, and be safe. Deuces.